How to build systems in 30 minutes so your business runs without you. Most founders think building systems is 30-page SOPs and flowcharts, but the truth is those systems never get finished, and if they do, your team really doesn't use them. In this video, I'm going to show you how to ditch the bloated textbook way of systemizing and use a fast-paced loop to implement systems in your business in about 35 minutes and then repeat. The problem with traditional systems is really how much effort needs to go into it for the return. So in my past, I worked at Eaton Corporation in continuous improvement, and my job was to systemize things on the plant floor. Now, we had to be very precise and we had to make systems for every single thing because it was a quality concern. But in most businesses, that is overkill. And I'm going to show you how to take the needy part of your business and systemize it in 35 minutes or less, and then repeat so you can start fixing the next constraint in your business. The 35-minute system framework is really simple. In step one, we're going to look at our constraint of our business, or the bottleneck. In simple words, this is the needy piece of your business, but we want to also make sure that this needy piece is going to make an improvement. So is it going to improve lifetime value? Is it going to improve company revenue? Is it going to reduce risk? Or is it going to free up your time so you can spend it fixing something else? If the answer is no to any of those, it's probably not that important of a process and you just need to ignore it or figure out a different way to handle that, and don't even spend the 35 minutes to improve it because it's probably not going to move the needle. That's key here. We want to look at constraints in the business and really focus on improving those. A quick example of bottlenecks in manufacturing are headphones. So these headphones have 2 earbuds in 1 case. If I was on a supply line and I was able to produce 10 earbuds per hour, but only 3 cases per hour, my output is 3 complete sets. If I invest my time and resources into producing more earbuds, so now I create 20 earbuds per hour, I'm still only outputting 3 complete sets because that's the only amount of cases I was making. So in that sense, the bottleneck or the constraint was not the earbuds, it was the case. And so it's the same thing with looking at the needy parts of your business, is if it's not truly a constraint, it's probably just noise. And we need to figure out what that is before we figure out what to solve. Step 2 is really simple. Once you figure out a few ideas that might be the constraint in your business and you figure out what's the lowest hanging fruit, just meaning what you want to invest in first, that's really step 2. It's just pick that project to work on. In step 3, we're going to break it down and map it out step by step. We're going to figure out who's doing it, what the process is, and why we're doing it. And it's always important to understand the goals behind what we're doing. So we're going to write those down. We're not going to try to improve the process yet. We're just going to understand current state. The best way to improve something is to really look at current state. So that way we know we're not going backwards or making something worse. It's really understanding what we're doing, mapping it out clearly. And this does not have to be every connected piece of this process. Just map out what you think is going to have the biggest return, that specific piece, so that way you can determine whether you want to eliminate part of it, automate part of it, or delegate part of it. And that is a key part of systemizing this business, is we're going to map this out so we can look at it and determine what the next step is for us. Now in step 4, the quickest way to make any kind of impact is make sure you assign ownership to the whole process and then set a goal behind it. Have the understanding of what looks good in that. So before we've even tried to fix the process, we want to make sure that the owner is not you and that it's running smoothly, or at least it's running in the way it is and someone owns it. That's going to be a key. Once you've done that, you can start looking at how to improve it. So that's where you'll really sit down and you have this owner who's not you. Again, it might be that you eliminate the process, it might be that you automate the process, but if you have to delegate it, you need to have that clear owner who knows why they're doing it and what those goals are. Then together, you're gonna look at, how do I improve that process? Can I streamline it? Can I automate it? Can I buy a tool that can do this for us? So you're trying to simplify that process and fix any of the little constraints in there. A lot of times, problems get fixed just by having that extra attention. So that's why that owner is so key. In manufacturing, I am Six Sigma certified, and a lot of times when I'd go do a project, what I noticed is as soon as I started working on that project, it actually got fixed. And it wasn't because we changed anything, we put attention on it. So the key was really retraining the SOP and then having someone own that. Now, there are a few different ways you can do this. The quickest way is to use what I call a daily SOP. And I'm gonna show you an example right now. So the quickest way to make sure that someone truly owns it and understands why and their goals is to just have a daily SOP per employee. So again, this is focused on delegating it if we weren't able to automate it. And this example you can get down below, or you can learn more about this in the Founder Systems AI course. but this is one of my AE or sales members' daily SOP. So it breaks down what they're doing every single day, every single week, every single month, and then annually, maybe reports, one-on-ones, and then additional responsibilities. So something like customer satisfaction could be an additional responsibility for everyone in your team, making sure that you're really taking care of that customer. But this is really the easiest way to get someone trained and to own a process. Now there is a step above that, and if you think about it, you do this first so someone owns it, and the next step would be building an SOP that really outlines the procedure for that process. So that is step 5, and I'll show you an example of how I build my SOPs, but the key thing here is SOPs do not have to be overly complicated. I like to have a few things. One, owner, of course, then why we're doing it so they understand the business need behind it, the goals. So if it's, sales, how many sales they're supposed to make per month, customer satisfaction, what we're supposed to do, things like that. So it's just really clear that they understand the priority and the mission behind what they're doing, and then simply just listing the procedure. What are we supposed to do? And it might just be, depending on how detailed you want to be, the quicker way is obviously to be really high level and just put open. So like I have a refund procedure or a client satisfaction procedure where if a client is unhappy with something, my team's allowed to spend a certain amount of money to make them happy. And it goes by levels of our department. And so the procedure is really simple, that if a client is unhappy and we think we can do something to solve that within these limits, they're allowed to take action right away. And it empowers them and gives everyone the responsibility for client satisfaction. So that has been very powerful in my team. So let me show you a quick example of what that looks like. So you can also grab this sample down below, but this would a lot of times link to that daily SOP or just live in a master location where people are probably not going to use it, but I'll teach you a trick at the very end on how to get people to actually use this. So again, we want to keep it as short as possible and move really quickly. The way that I do this is I have a template. I take this template, I upload it to ChatGPT, then I record a Loom video. I talk through every single step of what I'm doing. I put that Loom video in here so people can watch it, and then I have the transcription converted into an SOP. Now, the reason why I do that is because I turn all of my SOPs into an AI knowledge base. And that's gonna be really, really powerful because as the team grows, they can ask, who's responsible for this? How do I do that? It just becomes this tool that is actually usable for the team. And I do have an example of that as well. So this is one right here, and I'm just gonna show you, this is what we use at Founder Systems AI. It's actually trained on everything about the course. Every video, every cheat sheet, every strategy is in here. So someone can come in and say, tell me about bottlenecks. Tell me about constraints, and I'll give you a detailed answer. But the advantage here is that they didn't have to go through a library of 100 documents. They didn't have to watch 10 videos. They could just find the answers as quick as possible. And that's where SOPs really compound like capital in your business. Now in step 6, we're done. We've done the process. Hopefully we've improved the process. Obviously the owner should monitor and make sure that it's staying up to date and we're hitting goals, and maybe you have a reporting process behind that. But now you should have freed up some of your time to reinvest it into the next part of your business. That's finding that next constraint or that next bottleneck, and then just repeating this system of slowly improving, but again, focusing on improving those constraints so you're actually making a difference in your business. That's how you build systems that scale. Fast, simple, and built to run without you. Make sure to download the free templates below. And if you need more dedicated support, check out the Founder Systems AI course and community, where we teach the frameworks of how to build 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses through systemizing it. Make sure to subscribe if you like material like this and want to see how you can systemize the next piece of your business.